So if there was one thing that I think really annoys traders, it's drawdowns. I want to share with you guys today kind of my first drawdown, how that was a kind of a big turning point for me in my trading journey, how I've been able to overcome it, but also what I had to face during that drawdown and how things turned out. What's up traders, welcome back once again to another video on the channel. I publish now 4 videos like this a week, so if you want to not miss any of them, if you want to watch all of these, make sure you click subscribe to the channel and make sure you turn on the notification bell to be notified of future videos. But now I want to go into the topic. So my first drawdown. I want to kind of go back in time and try to locate you guys into how things have been happening for me. So I started trading Forex in 2013. That was my very first kind of trading experience where I placed the first trade. And as you know, I've saying a few times before, the first 2 years were pretty bad. Nothing really good happened. I was just trying things out on myself. I lost a bit of money that way. Things didn't really go well at all. Okay, and I had a pretty tough moment with a margin call eventually, which led me to kind of putting trading a little bit aside for some time. And then I went on to travel. I had this first experience of traveling abroad in 2015 when I went to Hong Kong to study as an exchange student. And that's the point where I kind of realized that I really wanted to make trading work. So I started to be more focused and more serious about it. So I came back to Montreal, here where I am right now. Got a mentor, got people to coach me and learn and move forward. And I kept studying. I was at university back then, studying in supply chain management, as I shared before. And then I started to learn and move forward. So I got a coach, things started to improve pretty quickly. I became really confident about the fact that I was able to trade because I had pretty good results back then. Although I only noticed this maybe a year after that my results were good. So this led me to think that I was ready to go full-time, and in fact I was ready. I had kind of things proper planned 2 years after that. I was ready to go full-time and make trading full-time, and I began to travel. So I had the funds necessary. I traded for other people before that to kind of raise my capital and everything around, and I was ready to go full-time indeed. So I was pretty confident I could do it, and then I began to travel. And so I bought my flight to Shanghai. You guys might remember my kind of very first travel vlog was in Shanghai. It's like cringy looking at it now, but it was pretty cool back then to be able to just be in Montreal one day and the next day you're in Shanghai alone by yourself. You gotta figure things out and you're trading, which is kind of awesome, okay? And I want to kind of document that at the same time. So I was in China back then, and I was this time zone difference kind of destabilized me a little bit. So I used to be good with the New York session where things you wake up, you trade and stuff. But then in Asia it's different. You wake up and it's night here, and then you're trading, and there's not a big difference with time zone. I think it's fine. But just the routines of not knowing what I would get set up in the night, which I didn't really prepare for, which was a mistake. That was challenging a little bit. So I decided to trade, kind of keep doing the same thing I was doing, except I left out my day trading strategy. So I was day trading before that, and that day trading strategy didn't really work for me because I was too busy with videos and traveling and other things around. So I had to kind of make a sacrifice of putting aside day trading to focus on other things I like doing more, like videos and things of the sort. And that led me to basically, things went well for about a month. I was taking some trades, making some decent, although low returns. And then it led me to kind of have a period where about 2 or 3 weeks where I didn't take any trade. Not because not because I missed them, but because there was no setup in the market. I was just there trying to take trades. I was showing up all the time. I had my cell phone. I was looking every hour at the chart. I was looking every 4 hours during the day at my computer, all the time. And I did document this in my vlog, which I'm kind of happy I did because it kind of shows the process and tough times that happened back then. But the point is that I didn't take any trade for about 3 weeks. And this led me to kind of question myself a little bit more. I was doing these videos. I had pressure from some of you guys who were kind of watching back then to show trades and show how I was trading and stuff. And at the same time, I had the pressure of myself. And this is the biggest pressure we can have, ourselves, pushing ourselves to do something. So I was supposed to be a traveling trader, but I was not taking any trades. So how could I call myself a traveling trader if I'm not taking any trades? And this thought, with the pressure of like everything around, and I'm not saying the pressure of YouTube and videos is the biggest one. I think the pressure was more coming from myself, which is something you gotta work on. But I didn't know back then. So that pressure of myself wanting to place trade forced me, or maybe led me to take more trades and find more ways to trade. So I began to look at the zones a little bit less. I began to take more trades in the market without the context, because I had to take trade. I had like an in quote, I had to take trade. And eventually this led me to a small drawdown. So drawdown like maybe 3% drawdown, which is totally fine, it's acceptable, it makes sense. That's part of my plan, to have a 3% drawdown. But then it went on to like being a 7-8%. I believe I did a video 1 month about a 6 or 7% drawdown, and that was pretty tough for me back then, because that was my first drawdown of being a profitable trader and even being full-time and having a drawdown. So how do you deal with that? And I was a little bit prepared, but when you're in the moment, it seems like things are different, and it seems like that's where you gotta find ways to improve, even though like you don't know how to improve and how to get back on track. And so this drawdown lasted about 2 or 3 months, I believe, probably a few months overall, until I came back to Canada, and I decided to apply a piece of advice I got earlier on my podcast from, I believe, Paul Wallace. Paul was saying, if you want to kind of get out of a rut or a tough time, or if you're not profitable, you want to move to profitable, you go look at all your trades. But not only that, you got to print out all your trades on paper and look at each of them. And that's pretty much what I did back then. So when I came back to Montreal, I had access to a printer more easily. I printed all my trades, and that's an excuse. That's just like me saying that when I came back, I had time to focus on that. So I came back here, focused on that, and printed all my trades. And I was able to identify pretty quickly, in a matter of like half an hour to an hour of sitting down, looking at all the trades, drawing on my chart by hand, everything that I saw that I didn't do right, or what should be the entry, the stop loss, the exit, and everything, and the context of the market. And just by doing that, I was able to find ways to improve. And I was able to see right away my mistakes, what I was doing wrong. I was either entering a little bit too late, or I was trading with like a setup that was not in the right context. And that helped me to kind of go back and solidify what I was doing, and eventually get out of the drawdown in about like 2 or 3 weeks just after that. Okay, so that's pretty much how this turned out. So I just want to share this with you guys to kind of see, and more importantly tell you that if you're in a drawdown right now, and if that's your first drawdown, that you gotta identify the cause. And it's okay, I believe, it's not that bad if you come across the fact that you have a drawdown later. Like, let's say you've been trading for 2 months, it's not going well, it's fine. The first one takes time to identify, and the other ones after, you get faster to knowing this is a drawdown and knowing how to deal with it. So the first one, like, don't put pressure on yourself. Don't say, well, I gotta get out of the drawdown really fast, I gotta work on my skill, I gotta take more trades, I gotta take all the right trades and stuff, because that's just pushing you against what you should do instead. So take time and reflect back, and if you can print out all your trades on paper, that would be awesome. That's like the best way to do it. If you cannot do this, or you don't want to do it for whatever reason, well, find a way to look at all your trades in detail. Maybe get a coach. A coach could help you review trades. Like, you give your coach a trading plan that you have, you give him a series of trades with all the details, and then he's gonna know, like, in a click what's wrong with you and what's wrong with your trades. Okay, so I do this with my students sometimes inside the Desire Trade Academy, which you guys can apply for if you want. But that's something that we do a lot, and we try to lift ourselves so that we can all become better. So that's the basic summary of the whole thing. If you guys have any questions on this, make sure you comment below the video. Let me know your thoughts, of course. You might have come across this first drawdown before, or maybe not. If you want to kind of have a word time and laugh about me, then go watch the past videos that I did back then in 2017 about what happened then and the stuff I was facing back then. I'll leave a link to a playlist below. You guys can watch this on your free time if you want. And I'm not going to watch because it's cringy, but up to you. And subscribe if it's not done yet. Once again, there's one more video like this 4 times per week. And as always, here are if you comment for the past video. I appreciate all of your comments in the comment section. And I'll catch you back here or somewhere else in a couple of days for the next video. Ciao.